welcome, Greg, to be here in SAPA, and thank you for the very excellent talk on leading us on the journey of drugging the undruggable. So the first question we want to get from you is, what brought you to SAPA, and how was your conference experience so far this morning?
Well, first of all, let me just thank SAPA for awarding me its Lifetime Achievement Award. That's really a tremendous honor, and so it was, for me, a very special opportunity to be here to talk about the entire arc of my career and to share it with the audience here. This meeting is just become extraordinary. There are over 450 people here, and SAPA is on a roll. It's really, as an organization, I've been connected with the organization for probably 25 years, and it's just grown and grown and grown in strength as Asian science and Chinese science has grown and grown and grown in strength.
Thank you for your kind words for SAPA and also the encouragement. So I know you worked on all kinds of therapeutics before, like most recently on peptides, and you told us a lot about the forward engineering of the peptides, how to make the peptides drugging the undruggable surface proteins or intracellular targets. So maybe could you share your vision about the opportunities and challenges in your field, which can lead us forward and serve the global patients better?
Well, as you were describing it, I was thinking, what exactly is my field? Because I've been in academics doing curiosity-based academic science, and then I've been an academic founder, traditional academic founder, and then I actually went into the venture world with Third Rock and now Andreessen Horowitz, and then I started actually running companies, and so I've seen that entire arc. I think the thing to focus on right now is how do you build 0 to 1 biotech companies, and how do we solve this problem of all of the lack of actionability for the genomic information that you heard about during the last talk. So I think there are really 3 challenges right now. There are scientific challenges, and that's what a lot of the meeting here is focused on. And the scientific challenges are that the discovery of drugs is simply too expensive, it is too slow, and is not scalable. And this leads us in a way to a lot of opportunity is being lost, and a lot of things no one even starts on because of the expense involved in discovering drugs. I believe that machine learning will have a significant impact on the speed and scalability of drug discovery. I'm not sure, to be honest, that the current small molecule drug discovery paradigm and the way artificial intelligence is being used in it is going to be transformative. I think we have to get much more radical in the way we break from the past if we're really going to use machine learning. But anyway, the big scientific challenge is how do we get to difficult targets with speed and scalability, and notwithstanding everything that you hear about degrader technologies and so on, we already know they're not dramatically speeding things up. We also have to learn how to target drugs to particular tissues. We can target drugs to the liver right now, but we're not very good at targeting to the brain, to the muscle, to the pancreas, to cardiac tissue, etc. So that's got to be a major thing that we have to deal with in the future. And thinking of myself in my venture life, those are areas that I'm really interested in. So that's number 1 is the science. Number 2 is financing. We are in an extended downturn, and that downturn has led to kind of polarization of financings where there are like ultra large financings that don't really seem a lot of times to make a lot of sense, like there's sort of $1 billion here or $3 billion there for this or that, and then there are the capital starved companies that actually have, especially things that are kind of late preclinical, where they're having trouble getting any oxygen at all. The capital in the financial market that's reserved for high risk, high reward, high opportunity, but high risk. And so we're the most vulnerable. So if you look at, for the example, the Inflation Reduction Act, the Inflation Reduction Act will not have a really major impact on big pharma, but it will impact biotech significantly, right? Because biotech, we don't have portfolios that we can rebalance from small molecules to biologics and so on. We may have just 1 drug or 2 drugs or 3 drugs, and we don't have any profits. All we have is we're selling innovation, and that makes us much more vulnerable to those kinds of situations. So the geopolitical and more broadly political ramifications here are really very problematic for biotech, and so we're in quite a difficult period right now where we have major scientific challenges, we have major financiers all at the same time. Now, the positive side is that we're also in an era in which the level of creativity, the FDA's willingness to partner with biotech companies has never been better. So we have to make our way through this very difficult period, and hopefully, we're starting to see light at the end of the day, at least on some of these fronts.
Thank you very much for summarizing this insight, and which could be very inspirational for the audience here of today's interview. I think from a personal perspective, you also have a very unique life story. Like you didn't grow up in a scholar family, but you actually become one of the most brilliant scientists in the field. You become the professor of Harvard, and so work on fundamental science. But then when you work on science, you actually discovered a lot of therapeutics and bring them to the patients, have 2 or more approved drugs, and a lot of already public successful companies become a lifetime entrepreneur. So how did you actually develop your career, and do you have any personal opinions or suggestions, advice for the Asian community, which most of the audience here are, or like other minority groups in the United States in this industry? How do they advance their own career?
Well, first of all, I grew up with a father who was not educated. He didn't complete the his ninth grade of education, and yet he was a kind of mechanical genius and a genius of improvisation. And I think a lot of what we do in building companies that are going off in some new direction is very improvisational. So I got from my father this amazing gift, which was the gift of improvisation. I probably also got from my parents another gift which was quite useful, which is kind of not believing the prevailing wisdom and sort of going with what I thought. For example, when I met someone, I make a judgment on my own rather than go with what other people would say about them. So, for example, when I interviewed at Harvard, the professors who I was interviewing with at MIT and Stanford and Berkeley, they all said, well, don't go to Harvard because they're going to treat you poorly and you have no chance of succeeding. And and yet when I went to Harvard and I met my colleagues, 5 of which out of 21 had Nobel Prizes, I found them to be just absolutely wonderful and really excited to work with me. So I dismissed everything that everybody said, and I believed what I was receiving with my own eyes and my own ears. So I think in some way we all have a lot of noises in our heads from various people saying various things, and I think my best advice to people is trust your own judgment and develop judgment. You shouldn't trust your judgment if it's not good. So develop a sense of judgment, develop a capability to understand who are the people that you should be interacting with, and how to avoid the people that you should not be interacting with. I think people have a sense of that sort of innately. In my academic career, when I was at Harvard, I really emphasized that for everybody to really fully immerse yourself in the language of the lab, and don't be self-conscious. Do not be self-conscious.
I'm sure everyone will benefit from your advice.
Okay.
Again, thank you for your time being here, and also enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much for doing this.